Life, as we know, is a tapestry woven with threads of joy and sorrow, triumph and tribulation. And along this journey, we often encounter behaviors from others, and sometimes even from ourselves, that chip away at our peace, our dignity, and our very essence. Perhaps you felt that quiet unease, that subtle drain on your spirit when confronted with certain attitudes or actions. Maybe you've even found yourself tolerating what deep down you knew was unacceptable, simply to keep the peace, or out of a sense of duty, or because you just weren't sure how to respond. We reach a certain age, a certain point in our lives, where clarity begins to emerge from the mists of youthful uncertainty. We've seen enough, experienced enough, to understand that true contentment isn't found in external validation or constant compromise. It's found within, in the quiet strength of character, in the unwavering commitment to our own values, and in the profound wisdom of discerning what genuinely serves our well-being versus what diminishes it. This isn't about being rigid or confrontational. It's about cultivating a deep, abiding self-respect that forms the bedrock of a truly meaningful life. But what if we possessed a quiet strength, an inner compass, to navigate these turbulent waters? What if we understood that true self-respect begins with what we refuse to tolerate? Greetings, fellow travelers on this path of wisdom. Today, we're going to delve into a profound aspect of living a life of virtue and serenity, an aspect deeply rooted in the ancient philosophy of Stoicism. For centuries, thinkers like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius offered timeless insights into mastering our inner world, not by controlling external events, but by controlling our responses to them. And a crucial part of this mastery lies in setting boundaries, not just for others, but for the very inclinations within us that might lead us astray. As we mature, as we gather the rich experiences of life, the importance of inner peace and self-respect only grows. We come to realize that not every battle is worth fighting, but some lines simply cannot be crossed if we are to maintain our integrity and our tranquility. This discussion is tailored for those of us who have lived long enough to appreciate the profound value of a strong mind, a calm spirit, and a life lived with purpose. We'll explore 6 behaviors that, from a Stoic perspective, simply cannot be tolerated if we are to cultivate genuine self-respect and maintain our inner tranquility. These aren't just fleeting annoyances, they are patterns that, if left unchecked, can erode our happiness and our sense of who we are. If you find yourself seeking wisdom to strengthen your mind, cultivate inner peace, and unlock a deeper sense of happiness in your life, then you've found a home here. I invite you to subscribe to the Stoic Philosophy channel. By joining our community, you'll gain access to more videos designed to equip you with the timeless principles and practical tools of Stoicism, helping you navigate life's complexities with resilience and grace. Hit that subscribe button and let's continue this journey together, fostering a mind that is strong, serene, and truly happy. In our modern world, it's remarkably easy to feel overwhelmed, to feel as though we must endure every slight, every injustice, every corrosive habit that comes our way. We are constantly bombarded with messages that encourage us to be flexible, to compromise, to go with the flow, and to just let it go. While these sentiments often come from a place of good intention, urging us towards peace and adaptability, they can, paradoxically, lead us down a path where our personal boundaries become blurred and our inner peace becomes increasingly fragile. We might find ourselves tolerating behaviors that subtly or even overtly chip away at our sense of self-worth, our energy, and our capacity for genuine happiness. Think about it. How many times have you bitten your tongue when someone made a disrespectful remark? How often have you allowed a habitual complainer to drain your emotional reserves simply because you felt it was impolite to disengage? Or perhaps you've even recognized certain self-defeating habits within yourself: procrastination, excessive worry, or a tendency to blame external circumstances that you've simply allowed to persist, telling yourself, "That's just how I am." The true challenge lies in recognizing what truly diminishes us, what poisons our spirit, and what prevents us from living a life aligned with our highest values. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy practiced by emperors and slaves alike, offers a crucial distinction here: the difference between patience and passivity, between understanding and enabling. Patience, in the Stoic sense, is a virtue. It's the ability to calmly endure adversity, to accept what is beyond our control, and to respond with reason rather than emotion. But passivity, on the other hand, is a quiet surrender, a silent agreement to let external forces dictate our inner state, allowing others' poor behavior or even our own unexamined habits to erode our peace. We face a profound societal paradox. On one hand, there's a strong emphasis on self-care and mental well-being, yet on the other, there's often a subtle pressure to avoid confrontation, to be nice at all costs, even if it means sacrificing our own dignity or mental health. This can lead to a pervasive sense of unease, a feeling of being constantly on the defensive, or worse, a quiet resignation to a less than fulfilling existence. We might tell ourselves that it's easier to simply tolerate a disrespectful friend, a demanding family member, or a draining work environment rather than assert our needs or draw a firm line. But this ease is deceptive. It's a short-term comfort that leads to long-term resentment and regret. The Stoics taught us that our most precious possession is our inner citadel, our mind, our judgment, our character. It is the one thing over which we have absolute control. When we tolerate behaviors, whether from others or from ourselves, that undermine this citadel, we are effectively surrendering our sovereignty. We are inviting chaos into our inner sanctum, allowing external disturbances to dictate our tranquility. The problem isn't just about what others do to us, it's about what we allow to happen, and more importantly, what we do to ourselves through our patterns of thought and action. As we journey through life, particularly as we mature and gain perspective, the stakes become higher. We have less time to waste on what doesn't serve us. We crave genuine connection, profound purpose, and unwavering peace. Yet the insidious nature of unchecked negative behaviors, whether our own or those we permit from others, can subtly block these aspirations. They are like small leaks in a boat, individually minor, but cumulatively capable of sinking the entire vessel of our well-being. The courage required isn't about grand gestures or angry outbursts. It's about a quiet, unwavering inner resolve. It's the courage to look inward and identify the habits of mind that no longer serve us. It's the courage to calmly and rationally, and sometimes even silently, disengage from situations or individuals that consistently drain our spirit. It's the courage to declare, not to the world, but to ourselves, "No more. This is unacceptable." This declaration isn't born of anger, but of wisdom, self-respect, and a profound commitment to living a life of virtue and serenity. It is the essential first step in cultivating genuine tranquility and true self-worth. Deep dive into unacceptable behaviors, a Stoic perspective. In this crucial section, we'll systematically unpack the 6 behaviors that, from a Stoic viewpoint, actively undermine our tranquility, compromise our self-respect, and hinder our journey toward a virtuous life. Each of these points is not merely a suggestion, but a principle rooted deeply in Stoic philosophy, guiding us toward what we can control: our reactions, our judgments, and our inner resolve. Understanding and actively choosing not to tolerate these behaviors is a powerful step towards cultivating a robust inner citadel, a mind strong enough to weather life's inevitable storms while maintaining its peace. Let's explore these facets of self-mastery one by one, understanding why they are unacceptable and how a Stoic mindset empowers us to address them. Indulging in constant complaining and victimhood. The first behavior we must never tolerate, whether within ourselves or from those around us, is the incessant drumbeat of complaining and victimhood. This isn't about discouraging genuine expressions of difficulty or seeking support during hardship. Rather, it targets the habitual, unproductive dwelling on negative circumstances that are often beyond our immediate control, or worse, the refusal to take agency where it is due. Seneca, the great Stoic philosopher, wisely taught that we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. He understood that the mind, left unchecked, can amplify perceived grievances, turning minor inconveniences into insurmountable obstacles. When we constantly complain, we effectively surrender our agency. We externalize our power, making ourselves beholden to circumstances, to other people, or to fate, rather than mastering our reactions and finding solutions within our sphere of influence. Consider the pervasive nature of complaining in daily life. It's a common conversational filler, a way to bond over shared frustrations. Yet beneath this seemingly innocuous habit lies a deeply corrosive force. Each complaint, each lamentation about traffic, the weather, politics, or another person's perceived slights reinforces a mindset of powerlessness. It tells our subconscious that we are victims, that life is happening to us, rather than acknowledging our capacity to respond to life. A Stoic understands that while external events are not always within our control, we cannot stop the rain or change another person's mind or rewind time. Our judgment of those events and our response to them always are. Epictetus, another cornerstone of Stoic thought, put it simply: it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it, that matters. To tolerate constant whining, whether our own or another's, is to allow a corrosive acid to eat away at our gratitude, our resilience, and our capacity for joy. It's like repeatedly poking a wound, preventing it from healing. This applies equally to the self. How often do we complain to ourselves about our past mistakes, our perceived shortcomings, or our lack of opportunities? This internal monologue of victimhood is perhaps the most dangerous, for it resides entirely within our citadel, poisoning our inner peace from the inside out. A Stoic recognizes this internal dialogue as a choice. We can choose to ruminate, or we can choose to reflect, learn, and move forward. We can choose to curse the darkness, or we can choose to light a candle. Furthermore, tolerating victimhood in others can be equally damaging. While compassion is a virtue, enabling a perpetual state of complaint without encouraging agency is not. It's like constantly giving a person fish without teaching them to fish. We are not helping them cultivate the inner resources they need to face life's challenges. Instead, we reinforce a pattern of dependency and helplessness. A true friend or a wise individual would gently but firmly redirect the conversation towards solutions, acceptance, or the things that are within one's control. The Stoic antidote to complaining and victimhood is acceptance and discernment. Acceptance of what is beyond our control, the weather, the past, other people's opinions, and discernment to focus our energy only on what is within our power. Our thoughts, our actions, our character. It means asking ourselves, is this complaint productive? Does it lead to a solution? Or is it merely an expression of frustration that drains energy without offering relief? By refusing to tolerate constant complaining and victimhood, we are not just silencing negativity, we are cultivating a profound sense of inner power. We are asserting that our peace is too precious to be squandered on what cannot be changed, and our energy is too valuable to be wasted on unproductive lamentations. We choose to be masters of our reactions rather than slaves to circumstances. This active refusal is a testament to our self-respect and a commitment to living a life of purpose and equanimity. It liberates us from the endless cycle of wishing things were different and empowers us to focus on making a difference where it truly counts, in our own thoughts and actions. It's about recognizing that every moment spent complaining is a moment stolen from gratitude, from problem solving, or from simply appreciating the present. Allowing others to disrespect your time and energy. The second behavior we must draw a firm, unwavering line against is the consistent disrespect of our time and energy by others. Our time is finite. It is the most non-renewable resource we possess. Each passing moment is a moment gone forever. Our energy, equally precious, dictates our capacity to engage with the world, to pursue our passions, to nurture our relationships, and to maintain our health. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, in his Meditations, repeatedly urged himself and his readers to waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one. This profound call to action extends directly to how we allow others to treat our most valuable assets. When someone consistently takes our time for granted, makes unreasonable demands on our energy, or disregards our personal boundaries, they are not merely inconveniencing us. They are infringing upon our self-worth and undermining our capacity for a flourishing life. Consider the various ways this disrespect manifests. The friend who is perpetually late, making you wait unnecessarily. The colleague who constantly delegates their unfinished tasks to you. The family member who calls at all hours with non-urgent matters, expecting immediate attention. Or individuals who monopolize conversations, draining your emotional reserves without any reciprocal interest in your well-being. These might seem like minor annoyances in isolation, but cumulatively they create a significant drain. They signal to the world, and more importantly, to ourselves, that our boundaries are porous, that our self-respect is negotiable, and that our time is less valuable than someone else's whims or lack of planning. A Stoic understands the profound value of prohairesis, our faculty of choice, our inner freedom. While we cannot control external events, we absolutely control how we react to them, and, crucially, what we permit within our sphere of influence. Allowing others to consistently disrespect our time and energy is a failure to exercise this control. It's a silent agreement to be less than we are, to prioritize others' convenience over our own well-being and virtue. Epictetus often spoke about what is up to us and what is not up to us. The time and energy we dedicate and to whom is unequivocally up to us. This isn't about being selfish or uncaring. A Stoic recognizes the importance of duty, generosity, and community. However, true generosity comes from a place of abundance, not depletion. If we allow our own well to run dry by tolerating constant demands, we will eventually have nothing left to give, neither to others nor to ourselves. Setting boundaries around our time and energy is an act of self-preservation, which paradoxically enables us to be more effective and generous when it truly matters. It means recognizing that saying no to something that drains us is often saying yes to our peace, our health, and our capacity to engage meaningfully with what is truly important. The Stoic principle of mindfulness also plays a key role here. Are we mindful of how our time is being spent? Are we consciously choosing how our energy is being directed, or are we passively allowing others to dictate our schedule and deplete our reserves? Tolerating consistent disrespect for our time and energy often stems from a fear of disappointing others, a desire to be seen as accommodating, or a reluctance to engage in uncomfortable conversations. Yet, Stoicism encourages us to prioritize our character and our inner peace above external approval. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. Our estimation of our own worth dictates how we allow others to treat us. By actively refusing to tolerate this disrespect, we are not only protecting our precious resources, we are also teaching others how to treat us. We are asserting our inherent worth and demonstrating that our time and energy are valuable commodities. This act of setting boundaries is a powerful expression of self-respect, transforming us from passive recipients of external demands into active architects of our own lives, ensuring that our energy is directed towards virtuous pursuits and genuine connections, rather than being squandered on those who do not value it. It's a commitment to living deliberately, with a keen awareness of what truly contributes to our flourishing. Engaging in malicious gossip or slander. Third, and critically important for anyone aspiring to a life of virtue and integrity, we must never, ever tolerate malicious gossip or slander, whether we are the ones speaking it or passively listening to it. The Stoics placed immense value on truth, reason, and the integrity of one's character. They understood that words are powerful tools capable of building up or tearing down, fostering trust or sowing discord. Epictetus, the former slave who became a profound Stoic teacher, urged us to be meticulous about our speech, stating, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid with regard to external things. Don't wish to be thought clever or to understand much." This principle applies even more forcefully to how we speak about others. Engaging in, or even idly listening to, destructive talk about others diminishes us. It poisons the well of trust in our communities and fosters an environment of suspicion, envy, and resentment. Consider the insidious nature of gossip. It often masquerades as harmless chatter, a way to share information or bond with others. Yet its core intent is frequently to elevate oneself by diminishing another, to spread unverified rumors, or to revel in another's misfortune. When we participate in gossip, we betray a lack of a higher purpose. We are not focusing on what is virtuous, what is rational, or what is truly productive. Instead, we are indulging in a base human tendency that reflects poorly on our own character, regardless of the target of the gossip. Marcus Aurelius frequently reminded himself to focus on what is within his control, his thoughts, his actions, his judgments. Spreading or absorbing gossip is a clear act of ceding control over our own mind to external, often unverified narratives. From a Stoic perspective, our reputation, while external and therefore indifferent, meaning not inherently good or bad, is nevertheless impacted by our actions. More importantly, our character is entirely within our control and is the ultimate good. When we engage in malicious talk, we are actively eroding our own character. We are choosing a path of pettiness and malice over one of dignity and truth. If we hear something negative about someone, a Stoic would first question its veracity and then consider its utility. Does this information serve a good purpose? Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? If the answer to any of these is no, then engaging with it is a disservice to our own mind. Tolerating gossip in our presence is equally problematic. By remaining silent, we implicitly condone the behavior. We become complicit in the spread of negativity and untruths. A Stoic, committed to virtue, would not actively participate in such an activity. This doesn't mean becoming self-righteous or preachy. It means calmly and discreetly changing the subject, or, if appropriate, gently challenging the information or simply disengaging from the conversation. As Epictetus might suggest, if anyone tells you that a certain person speaks ill of you, do not make excuses about what is said of you, but answer, "He was ignorant of my other faults, else he would not have mentioned these alone." This shows a focus on one's own character rather than getting entangled in external opinions or malicious talk. The cultivation of silence when tempted to speak ill, or the deliberate turning away from conversations designed to tear others down, is an act of profound self-mastery. It is a commitment to purity of thought and speech. A Stoic seeks truth and virtue, not cheap thrills at another's expense. To tolerate such behavior, either in oneself or in one's company, is to compromise our own moral compass and invite a corrosive element into our inner life. It demonstrates a lack of self-respect, for if we truly value our own integrity, we would not allow our minds to be polluted by the negativity of others' failings or fabricated narratives. By rejecting gossip and slander, we uphold our commitment to reason, truth, and the respectful treatment of all human beings, even those we might disagree with. It is an active choice to elevate our discourse and protect our intellectual and moral environment. Neglecting self-care and personal growth. The fourth unacceptable behavior, often subtle but profoundly damaging, is the neglect of our own self-care and personal growth. In a world that often celebrates busyness, productivity, and constant external achievement, we can easily fall into the trap of believing that prioritizing ourselves is selfish or a luxury we cannot afford. We might constantly put the needs of our families, our careers, or our social obligations before our own fundamental well-being. Yet, how can we truly serve others? How can we face life's challenges with resilience? And how can we cultivate wisdom if our own inner well is dry, if our mind is dulled by exhaustion, or if our spirit is neglected? Seneca famously said, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." This profound statement isn't just about accumulating knowledge, it's about the continuous cultivation of our being, nurturing our minds, bodies, and spirits as an ongoing, essential practice. Self-care, from a Stoic perspective, is not merely about indulgence. It's about maintenance of the instrument through which we practice virtue. Our body is the vessel that carries our mind. If we consistently deprive it of adequate rest, nourishing food, or beneficial movement, we are weakening our capacity for reasoned thought, emotional regulation, and effective action. A tired mind is more prone to anger, anxiety, and poor judgment. A neglected body can become a source of chronic pain and distraction, pulling us away from our philosophical pursuits and daily duties. Tolerating a perpetual state of exhaustion, physical discomfort, or mental fog is to tolerate the erosion of the very foundation of our well-being and our capacity to live a full, virtuous life. Beyond the physical, personal growth speaks to the continuous sharpening of our minds and the refining of our character. This involves intellectual nourishment through reading, learning new skills, engaging in thoughtful contemplation, and reflecting on our experiences. It's about regularly examining our judgments, our biases, and our responses to life's events, constantly striving to align them with reason and virtue. Marcus Aurelius, despite his immense responsibilities as emperor, dedicated time each day to journaling his thoughts, practicing his Stoic principles, and reflecting on his character. He understood that neglecting this inner work was tantamount to neglecting his duties, for how could he lead others if he could not lead himself? The modern tendency to equate self-worth with constant output or external validation can lead us to believe that pausing for self-care or personal reflection is a waste of time. This is a dangerous delusion. A Stoic understands that our worth comes from our character, our rational faculty, and our commitment to virtue, not from the number of tasks we complete or the accolades we receive. To allow external pressures to constantly override our need for rest, reflection, and learning is to prioritize the indifferent, external achievements over the good, our character and inner state. Tolerating a state of mental stagnation, emotional neglect, or physical decline is a betrayal of our potential. It is to passively accept a diminished version of ourselves. The Stoic path is one of continuous improvement, of prokoptine, making progress. This progress is impossible without dedicated attention to our inner and outer well-being. It means consciously setting aside time for solitude, for reflection, for learning, and for physical restoration, even when the world tells us we should be doing something more productive. By refusing to tolerate the neglect of self-care and personal growth, we are making a profound statement. We value our own well-being as a prerequisite for living a virtuous and effective life. We are committing to being resilient, thoughtful, and capable individuals who can truly contribute to the world because we are tending to our own instruments. This act of self-nurturing is not selfish. It is essential. It is the fuel that allows us to practice courage, temperance, justice, and wisdom in all aspects of our lives. It ensures that we are not merely existing, but truly living and growing, becoming the best versions of ourselves possible. Allowing unchecked anger and impulsivity to dictate actions. Fifth, we must relentlessly confront and refuse to tolerate unchecked anger and impulsivity, whether these volatile forces manifest within ourselves or are routinely displayed by those in our immediate circle. The Stoics viewed anger as one of the most destructive passions, a temporary madness that extinguishes reason and leads to actions we inevitably regret. Seneca, in his profound treatise on anger, called it the most hideous and frenzied of all passions, warning that it overturns reason, drives us headlong into danger, provokes quarrels, and tramples on all that is sacred. When we allow anger to dictate our words or actions, we lose our most valuable asset, our rational faculty. We surrender our capacity for reasoned judgment, and in that moment, we become slaves to an irrational, destructive impulse. Consider the aftermath of an angry outburst. Words are spoken that cannot be unsaid. Relationships are damaged, trust is broken, and regret often follows like a shadow. This isn't just about external consequences. The internal toll is equally severe. Anger corrodes our inner peace, leaving us agitated, restless, and disconnected from our calm, rational selves. To tolerate an explosive temper in ourselves or in our close circles is to invite chaos, destroy tranquility, and undermine the very possibility of harmonious interaction. Impulsivity often walks hand in hand with anger. It's the tendency to act or speak without forethought, without considering the long-term consequences, driven solely by immediate emotional reactions. Whether it's a hasty financial decision, a cutting remark made in the heat of the moment, or an ill-considered commitment, impulsive actions often lead to complications and distress. The Stoics understood that true freedom lies in the ability to pause, to reflect, and to choose our response rather than being compelled by an automatic reaction. Epictetus taught that we should practice on the smaller things and then proceed to the greater. This applies directly to managing our impulses. By practicing restraint in minor provocations, we build the muscle of self-control for more significant challenges. A Stoic cultivates apatheia, not apathy in the modern sense of indifference, but rather freedom from destructive passions and irrational emotions. This is achieved through rigorous self-awareness and the application of reason. It involves recognizing the initial spark of anger or the urge of an impulse, and then creating a space, however brief, between that stimulus and our response. In that space, we have the power to apply our rational faculty, to ask ourselves, is this response virtuous? Is it reasonable? Does it serve my higher purpose? Or is it merely a knee-jerk reaction that will lead to suffering? Tolerating unchecked anger in others is also detrimental. While we cannot control another person's emotions, we can control our proximity to their outbursts and our response to their behavior. Constantly being exposed to unpredictable anger creates an environment of anxiety and fear, which is antithetical to a Stoic's pursuit of tranquility. It may require setting firm boundaries, disengaging from volatile situations, or, in extreme cases, reassessing the nature of the relationship itself. This isn't about judging another person, but about protecting our own inner citadel from external disturbances that we have the power to mitigate or remove. By refusing to tolerate unchecked anger and impulsivity, both in ourselves and in our environment, we are actively asserting our commitment to reason and self-mastery. We are choosing calm over chaos, foresight over recklessness, and wisdom over reactive folly. This is a cornerstone of Stoic practice, enabling us to maintain our composure in the face of provocation, to act with deliberate intention, and to build relationships based on respect and rationality rather than volatile emotions. It is a profound act of self-care and a testament to our dedication to living a life of enduring peace and virtue, ensuring that our actions are always guided by our highest ideals, not by temporary emotional storms. Failing to take responsibility for one's own actions. Finally, and perhaps most fundamentally for the cultivation of a robust Stoic mindset and genuine self-respect, we cannot tolerate a failure to take responsibility for one's own actions. This applies equally to ourselves and to those with whom we share our lives. The Stoics believed deeply in individual accountability and the absolute power of our own choices. They taught that while external events are not within our control, our judgments, our attitudes, and our responses to those events are entirely our own domain. Epictetus's famous dictum, "Don't seek for everything to happen as you wish that it would, but rather wish that everything happens as it actually will, then your life will proceed smoothly," encapsulates this perfectly. It's an invitation to align our will with reality and to own our part in it. Consider the pervasive nature of blame and excuses in modern society. When something goes wrong, the immediate reflex for many is to point fingers at circumstances, at other people, at luck, or at some external force. "It wasn't my fault. I had no choice. They made me do it." These phrases are common deflections that, while momentarily absolving us of guilt, fundamentally strip us of our power. By externalizing blame, we surrender our agency. We become a leaf tossed by the wind rather than a navigator steering our own course. This avoidance of responsibility is a significant barrier to personal growth and self-mastery. How can we learn from our mistakes if we refuse to acknowledge them as our own? How can we improve our character if we consistently attribute our failures to external factors? Marcus Aurelius, in his meditations, constantly reminded himself to focus on what was within his sphere of influence. He understood that true strength came from owning his judgments and actions, regardless of the outcomes. Blaming others, making excuses, or denying fault. These are not just convenient escape routes, they are pathways that lead to stagnation and a perpetual state of immaturity. Tolerating this behavior in ourselves means we are accepting a fragmented self, one that refuses to integrate its errors and learn from them. It's a self-betrayal, as we deny our own capacity for change and improvement. The Stoic path is one of continuous prokoptine, or progress. This progress is impossible without a rigorous commitment to self-examination and accountability. We must courageously look at our actions, acknowledge our errors without self-flagellation, and then take corrective steps. This is true humility and true strength. Furthermore, tolerating a consistent failure to take responsibility in others can be equally damaging to our relationships and our peace of mind. When a friend, family member, or colleague habitually blames others for their problems, they are shifting the burden onto you or the environment. This creates an imbalance, fosters resentment, and undermines trust. How can you rely on someone who consistently refuses to own their part? This doesn't mean we shouldn't offer support or empathy when others face challenges. But there's a critical difference between empathizing with someone's struggle and enabling their avoidance of responsibility. Enabling such behavior can lead to a cycle where you find yourself constantly cleaning up after others' mistakes or perpetually listening to complaints rooted in a lack of accountability. A Stoic, committed to justice and honesty, would find such evasion distasteful. They would understand that true collaboration and genuine connection require each individual to stand firmly in their own agency. While we can influence others through our example and reasoned argument, ultimately, we cannot force them to take responsibility. However, we can choose not to enable their lack of accountability, and we can ensure that we, ourselves, always embody this crucial virtue. By refusing to tolerate a failure to take responsibility, we are making a powerful statement about integrity and self-reliance. We are asserting that true freedom comes not from avoiding consequences, but from owning our choices and actions, learning from them, and using them as fuel for growth. This commitment ensures that our lives are built on a foundation of honesty, resilience, and genuine self-respect, rather than on the shifting sands of blame and excuse-making. It fosters true maturity and allows us to build relationships based on mutual respect and genuine accountability. The unbreakable shield, reclaiming your inner citadel. Here we stand, at the precipice of a profound realization. We've explored 6 insidious behaviors: constant complaining and victimhood, the disrespect of our precious time and energy, the corrosive nature of gossip and slander, the subtle sabotage of neglecting our self-care and growth, the destructive surge of unchecked anger and impulsivity, and the debilitating evasion of personal responsibility. Individually, each is a drain. Collectively, they represent cracks in the very foundation of our inner peace and self-respect. The moment we truly grasp the impact of these behaviors, when we stop rationalizing them, when we cease enabling them in ourselves and others, and when we genuinely see them for what they are, is the moment we reclaim our power. This isn't merely an intellectual understanding, it's a visceral awakening. It's the sensation of a burden lifting, a fog clearing, as we recognize that we are not passive recipients of life's whims, but active architects of our inner world. This realization is the unbreakable shield of the Stoic. It's the moment you realize that your peace is not a fragile butterfly easily crushed by external forces. It is a fortress, your inner citadel, built brick by painstaking brick with mindful choices and unwavering resolve. Every time you refuse to engage in unproductive complaining, you add a brick. Every time you calmly assert your boundaries against someone who disrespects your time, you fortify a wall. Each decision to turn away from malicious gossip, to prioritize your own growth, to master an angry impulse, or to courageously own your actions, these are not just individual acts. They are deliberate, powerful movements to strengthen that fortress. For too long, many of us have been taught, subtly or overtly, that virtue lies in endless accommodation, in being endlessly nice or flexible, even at the expense of our own well-being. But Stoicism, with its clear-eyed view of human nature and its unwavering focus on what is truly within our control, offers a liberating truth. True strength isn't about enduring limitless abuse or suffering in silence. It's about discerning what is acceptable to your character and what is not. It's about understanding that protecting your inner peace is not selfish. It is a fundamental act of self-respect that allows you to be a more virtuous, more effective, and more genuinely peaceful person in the world. The key moment isn't about changing others, for that is beyond our control. The key moment is about profoundly changing ourselves. It's the moment we recognize that our reactions, our judgments, and our choices of what we tolerate are the only things that truly belong to us. And in that recognition lies immense power. It means recognizing that the pain caused by these behaviors is not inherent in the behavior itself, but in our agreement to tolerate it. And this agreement, this internal concession, is something we have the power to revoke at any moment. This isn't an overnight transformation. It's a continuous practice, a daily vigilance. But the insight, the key moment, is realizing that you possess the inherent capacity to draw these lines, to enforce these boundaries, and to protect your inner sanctuary from invasion. It is the profound understanding that your dignity, your peace, and your character are worth fighting for, not with aggression towards others, but with unwavering discipline and self-respect towards yourself. This is the moment you reclaim your sovereign self, armed with the wisdom of the Stoics, and declare not to the world, but to your own soul, "My peace is sacred, my self-respect is non-negotiable. This is what I choose to tolerate, and this is what I refuse." It is the moment you step fully into your power, ready to live with profound inner tranquility, no longer buffeted by the winds of external pressures or internal disarray. This is the bedrock upon which a truly meaningful life is built. The path to enduring tranquility. As we bring our exploration to a close, let us consolidate these powerful insights. We've journeyed through 6 critical behaviors that, when tolerated, become insidious currents, pulling us away from our best selves, away from the tranquility and self-respect that Stoicism so powerfully champions. These are not just minor character flaws or fleeting annoyances. They are significant breaches in the integrity of our inner citadel, our mind, our character, our peace. We've seen how constant complaining and victimhood surrender our agency, poisoning our gratitude and resilience. We've understood that allowing others to disrespect our time and energy is a betrayal of our self-worth, signaling that our boundaries are permeable. We've recognized that engaging in malicious gossip or slander, or passively listening to it, erodes our own character and contaminates our mental environment. The subtle but profound damage of neglecting self-care and personal growth reminds us that true strength comes from tending to our own well-being rather than constantly depleting it. We've confronted the destructive force of unchecked anger and impulsivity, which extinguishes reason and leads to inevitable regret. And finally, we've highlighted the foundational importance of taking full responsibility for our own actions, recognizing that evasion of accountability stunts growth and undermines genuine relationships. These are not merely abstract philosophical concepts. They are practical principles for living a life of profound purpose and enduring calm. To refuse to tolerate these behaviors is not an act of aggression or self-righteousness, quite the opposite. It is an act of profound self-respect, a commitment to virtue, and a clear application of Stoic wisdom. It is a declaration that our inner peace is paramount, and that we are willing to exercise our rational faculty to protect it. By consciously choosing to eliminate these patterns, both within ourselves and by setting firm boundaries with others, we cultivate a life rooted in integrity, serenity, and quiet power. Remember, the Stoic path is one of continuous self-improvement, of constant vigilance over our judgments and reactions. By internalizing these lessons, by actively rejecting what diminishes us, we transform from passive observers of our lives into active participants, shaping our character and protecting our peace. We learn to walk through life with our heads held high, knowing we are true to ourselves, unburdened by what does not serve our highest good. This proactive approach to our well-being allows us to live with authenticity, resilience, and a deep, unwavering sense of peace that no external circumstance can truly disturb. Your journey continues. As we conclude this reflection on what we must refuse to tolerate, remember that the pursuit of a strong mind and a tranquil spirit is a continuous journey, not a destination. These 6 principles are powerful tools, but they are just a few threads in the rich tapestry of Stoic wisdom that can guide you to a more resilient, purposeful, and peaceful life. If the insights shared today resonated with you, if they sparked a realization or offered a new perspective on navigating life's challenges, then your journey into the Stoic philosophy has only just begun. I warmly invite you to explore the other videos on our channel where we delve deeper into practical applications of ancient wisdom for modern living. Each video is crafted to help you cultivate the inner strength to master your reactions, embrace what is within your control, and find serenity amidst life's inevitable ups and downs. To ensure you don't miss out on any future insights, new strategies, or profound discussions that can empower your mind and uplift your spirit, please take a moment to subscribe to the Stoic Philosophy channel right now. Hit that subscribe button and join our growing community of individuals dedicated to living with greater virtue, wisdom, and inner peace. Your engagement helps us continue to share this timeless philosophy with more people who seek to build their own inner citadel. Thank you for dedicating your valuable time to watching this video. Your presence and your willingness to reflect on these important truths are deeply appreciated. May you find increasing strength, clarity, and enduring tranquility on your path, living each day with profound self-respect and unwavering purpose.